Hello guys and welcome to our unboxing of the Spaces Between, a Netrunner data pack that is sure to please, if only for the art.
That's a very good
Because as we've been fanning through these cards, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's all
so
pretty and so good. So join us not only for the art, but for a little discussion on what the cards actually do.
This is like the first time we've ever discussed how good the art is on these cards.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we
don't normally talk about that, but
I'll tell you, the foundry itself, I was talking about this earlier, it looks spot gloss. It looks like one of those
It
special
really
IDs
does.
because of that black strip on the far left. When you look at it, it's like absorbing the light and everything else is pushing it out. And
That is weird.
it doesn't look good.
it's almost like a parallax effect, but not.
Almost. One of our favorite words here around the office. Let's talk about the foundry, shall we? Refining the process is the tagline there. And
It's my kind of business right here.
I love it, right? It feels good.
Just so everyone's aware, I have not seen any of these cards. Zero cards here, so just saying.
That's all right. We take exact screens with a grain of salt anyway, don't we?
Yeah, always.
Little Aesops.
This card with Aesops?
Aesop is always the answer. It's true, though. Every card gets better when you trade it in for
remarkable
three.
amount of insight from you, to be honest. Remarkable.
Excellent.
Because sometimes you need fresh eyes to really break out of the matter, break out of the mold. As Damon was talking about, science,
Yep.
not math.
Yep. For sure.
Identity division.
What? Wait, this is normally art versus science. Oh, man.
45-15, standard identity here.
I hope you talk this slow the whole time.
The first time you rest a piece of ice each turn, you may search R&D for another copy of that ice, reveal it and add it to HQ, then shuffle R&D. Oh my goodness, guys. We've finally seen the identity that can take on engineering the future.
I agree with that.
Have we seen it?
I think
this is it, finally, right?
This is
It's
the
like
one that
it's
can.
like the next.
It won't
level.
always, but it can.
Not always, certainly, not always.
So tell me why this is good.
Like compared to all the-
Teach me.
The most
How to
obvious
bet.
thing here is next dice.
Right.
It synergizes when you have more of it, so being able to find more of it is obviously a good thing.
Correct.
It's also going to synergize very well with the Grail Ice, which is not out yet. Well, not all of it's out yet. We
Yeah.
have one piece that is not that great yet, but it will be.
We've certainly seen that there is synergistic ice suites currently and in the future.
Yes.
Yeah, and something we haven't even seen yet. for
And
sure.
so those two things are the most obvious thing. The other things you can think of are like a pop-up window. Like being able to just res a pop-up window and go get another one is just awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Like, so the ice you're including in your deck in a 3-of scenario is generally ice that you want to see all the time. It's like, it's good ice, right? It's like, this is serving a purpose that is so important that I want more of it. And this gives you, like, so when you value this card, it's kind of hard because it's essentially you draw a card every time you raise a piece of ice. But you're not exactly drawing a card, you're searching a card, which is even better. But it's
Search is
very
greater than draw.
It's a very conditional search, so it's worse, kind of. But it's diluting your hand from agenda flood, right? So it's like, oh, they're running HQ. I'll res this HQ ice. Now I have an additional card that isn't an agenda in my hand.
Well, I think what I like this better for, and I'm no mathematician, so I'm only doing science here, is the ability to shuffle R&D is huge.
I'm glad you mentioned
That's what the
that,
next thing
Zach.
I was
Shuffling
going to
R&D
say.
on
you
your
mentioned
that
that,
turn,
yeah.
it's like indexing suddenly became useless.
I'm not going to res that piece of ice. Index, okay.
Yeah.
Run in there again. I'll res this ice.
Yeah, no, I'll
Yeah.
res it. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
the capacity to shuffle your deck not at will, but anytime they're running on face down ice.
Yeah,
It's really crazy.
yeah.
And
Get you out of
you add
R&D
cards
lock
into your
scenarios,
hand.
too.
Yeah.
Where it's like, third click, fourth click, maybe run R&D, and then I'll res this now, shuffle this, so that next turn now I have a chance to top deck that agenda and biotic it out or something.
I feel like you could also trick the runner into hitting R&D again, right? It's like they have the R&D lock, and they run, and they'll want to run
I think
again
you can
once
do that
you
without
shuffle.
this idea.
Yeah, they
but
won't want you to run it. I don't know. I mean, it gets cards in your hand. It thins your deck from ice that you don't want to see when you draw at a certain point, right? It's like, I'll get
It
this wall of
does-
static out of here.
It does increase the agenda density of your deck.
It does. It does do that. Yeah. But, I mean, any
makes
card that
sense.
isn't, I'm with you there.
This,
But I think it's still great.
this is what I really love about this is it feels like a design in the game that's going horizontal,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
not vertical.
Mhm.
Definitely.
So it's HB. You're gonna get all the great ice that HB.
I mean, you
always
get
has had.
3 Eli. You get an Eli every time you're as an Eli.
Sick.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
sick.
Yeah,
But
it's sound.
it's radically different than any HB we've seen. It plays completely different. It plays into the next theme that has been kind of building these kind of weird themes.
It's funny that this would be next and not next.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
fun.
But it's also not, I don't think, obviously better or worse.
No, definitely not
It's
obvious.
just
Just
radically
different.
different.
It's just
which is
different.
awesome.
Great.
If I would agree with
Great foundry. Thank
All
you.
right, next up, another HB card. 2 influence, enhanced login protocol. Cost 2. It's an operation. It's a current.
No.
You want to talk about currents for a second? What's a current?
Well, why don't you just read the card?
Right.
Current is a card that is not.
This card is not trash until another current is played or an agenda is stolen. Where do you play this thing at?
So you just
To the
play
player.
it like this. You know, I think
To
I
the
like.
side.
I either put it to the side or like in front of my board, where it's like this is happening. You know, a lot of players play with their credits out front too. It's like, be aware that this current is in play.
Okay. Well, HB's current in this pack is, as initial cost to make the first run not made through a card ability on his or her turn, the runner must spend a click.
How many influence would this say?
2.
Okay. So this card is
Say that
fantastic.
first.
It's bonkersly good. This card is bonkersly good.
It's very good for multiple reasons. Obviously, in HB, spinning that extra click means, oh, I'm not going to be able to click through that Heimdall now, or I'm not going to be able to click through the Ichi. But additionally, if you look at this outside of faction, like Replicating Perfection, just eats this up.
It's like, you have to run my deck.
And that's 2 clicks now.
Bummer.
Oh man, I thought that currents were agenda is scored
No.
or stolen.
No.
It's
the
just
opposite.
stolen.
And the runner ones are scored.
Oh my gosh. That makes them so much better for me.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was if the corpse scored with their current on
No.
that it would trash.
Nope.
Oh mercy! When I was talking to at Gen Con and it was like where the scored or stolen, they were talking about both sides, but it's
It was
my
only for one side.
gosh!
Yeah.
So you lock this in and it is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh my gosh!
Yep.
This is so good.
Currents just
Oh
upgraded
my
in Steven's
goodness!
brain.
This is crazy
Oh.
good.
Yeah, they're very strong.
Yeah, I mean it's at 2
This one in
influence.
particular.
Anyone can run it. It fits really well with HB what they already do. So
And it's just any taxing deck you ever
Yeah.
have, this is just fantastic.
You're obviously running this in replicating, right?
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean-
it depends on influence spreads. But like if I install an Issei Mark II, advance it, and then play this, it's like FML, right? Like
right? Am I
2
right?
clicks
Right?
to a central and then 1 click to get over. Maybe.
and then you hit a Caprice Issei and it's like the side game, but you failed it. Okay, you got one more shot. It's just brutal.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid there's an hourglass in R&D as well. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, it's great in HB and really good elsewhere.
Now the real question here is if you ran it with a sign.
This is really solid.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's probably my
Good
favorite.
stuff. I'm
Ooh,
gonna go
wait,
ahead
now
and
is
give-
this actually the Aesop's thing brings up an interesting question? Is this considered like
It
it's
is not installed.
It's not an installed card. You're right.
All right, up next we have the Heinlein grid.
Heinlein.
It's a 3 cost HB upgrade. It's a region. It's 2 influence. It's 3 trash cost. If the runner loses or spins a click during a run on this server, he or she loses all credits in
What?
his or her credit pool, with 1 region per server. Now, once again, obvious synergies with
Your current.
HB Ice,
What about
Yeah.
the current?
current as well. Sure.
Does the current now? Here's the question. and This is solving our players. I would have to look at the timing structure to figure this one out. As an additional cost to make the run, you have to spend a click. Is that also considered spending a click during the run? Because I don't think you've initiated the run until you paid all additional costs, and then Heinlein would come in,
Ugh.
right? It's not. It's one of those weird net.
I don't know.
things.
I don't know the answer to that, but I think that that's correct.
I know the rules are there for it. I would just have to go look at the chart.
Yeah.
But I want to say login protocol does not trigger Heinlein. I hope.
I would believe that. That's
I
fine.
hope. Otherwise, that is just. Yeah.
But-
I hope.
But the other thing is like this works with Enigma. They hit an Enigma. Oh,
Yeah.
Enigma just got a lot better.
Yeah. it did
Hourglass
good.
got a lot better.
Yeah.
And if they just want to click through an Ichi, it's like, well,
I mean, this is also the biggest waste of trashing a card.
it's like
Yeah, it's such a bummer. Man, these are some heaters from HB. I am significantly impressed.
another really important thing to talk about with this as well is
Dang.
false lead. You can forfeit false lead to make them lose 2 clicks, and then they lose their credit pool.
all credits. That is insane.
Yeah, that works.
That works.
Oh man,
Seems okay.
this is gonna be a thing, guys.
And it's only 2 influence, so
It's
Maybe HB will finally be good enough.
gonna- finally they'll see some play. Actually, you know what? I was surprised at Gen Con. They we didn't see him as much.
there wasn't
right?
Yeah,
that much.
you were on HB, right?
I was.
Mainly NBN.
We're gonna talk about that event.
Maybe
It's
NBN.
fine. But yeah. All right, what's up next, Steven?
I got encrypted protocols.
Does that
or-
not look
or
like
encrypted
Goku's
portals.
symbol, by the way?
What's that?
Goku?
I mean,
Yeah,
not really, but
Does.
sure.
in the sense that it's
Orange and black.
well and Oriental.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Encrypted portals, 3 cost, 1 agenda point, agenda security. All code gate ice have +1 strength while it's active. Remember, it's only active in the corpse score area, as all agendas are, unless otherwise noted. When you score it, gain 1 credit for each resed code gate. I love it, man. You know, the thing about code gates is that the stronger they get, literally strength-wise, just the better they get, because once you get out of Yogg territory, it's really not... It's not fun to break code gates.
The thing that's awesome about these is that they stack, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If I score 2 of these, my
You're totally
my Lotus Field, it's like,
yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, if you have a few of them rezzed, whenever you score it,
Gain 2 or 3 money back.
Few money.
Yeah.
Or you just build the all code gate deck.
You know you're building the all code gate deck. I mean, we know that's happening.
You build code gates and then you run stuff like Grim, right, to trash the code gate breakers.
And maybe you run some Mother Goddess.
Oh, yeah.
That's some
Doesn't
code
matter, it's
gate.
a code
More
gate.
code gates.
More code gates.
That's a great little agenda, and it's doing something different. I
think it's
like
cool.
it.
And most importantly, probably, it's just another 1 point difference in deck you'd have, because they're really lacking in 1-pointers.
Thanks, Tim.
Okay.
What about Cerebral
next up, we
Static?
have Cerebral Static. It's a 2-cost Jincheki operation. It's a current,
Hey,
2 influence.
hold the phone.
This card is not trashed until another current is played or an agenda is stolen. The runner's identity text box is blank.
How many influence was that?
2.
Okay. Yeah,
An overwhelming silence fills the room.
This card is not the best current I've seen.
It's
not that great right now, I don't think.
It's because of Andy.
I mean, yeah,
Andy-
maybe there's things in the future,
There are some matchups that this is just insane in.
like Kate,
the noise.
Professor.
No, but it's
would be great.
pointless against the Professor.
Kate?
Noise.
Your deck is illegal.
It's good against Kate. That doesn't work.
I can't say his name, but Ian.
Ian.
Ian?
I figured out it's Ian.
Just
Yeah,
Ian?
that was answered. Yeah, it's an old world spelling of Ian.
Why didn't you spell
Well,
Ian?
Ian is a new world spelling of that.
Ian.
It's like a Gaelic thing, I think.
Ian.
Yeah.
It's good to know. But
Probably
yeah,
was
What about
Ian
old Ken?
at some point.
Ken Express.
Ken Express, baby.
Gabe.
Can Express Gabe,
Silhouette.
but it still doesn't have the HB one has a groundbreaking effect.
Mhm.
All
It doesn't even matter if it's all the time. It is all the time is nice, but even when you get it, it's like, oh, this is like, it won't last for very long.
Is it more of a, like, I'm running it because if a runner has a really good current, I want to get rid of it? And
I mean,
don't
that's
use
the
my
weird-
influence out of Kentucky?
That's the weird current game to play, right?
It's
You
interesting
probably have
because
one
it's
in.
really hard to justify that. It's like,
Yeah.
I have so many good card slots.
Like, you may as well splash the 2 influence HB one if you're going to
Yeah, it's
waste
just
your time.
it's so difficult.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, no, there will be runners depending. Like,
And I think that
Wizard-
as the game goes on, this just gets better.
if replicating perfection becomes just, well, it's still really good, but if it becomes the deck like NEH was at Gen Con, then they might run this to counter Wizard because he will become the runner at that point. And it's like, if you don't have 3 credits to trash,
Your game's a lot worse.
your game gets way worse. So it's a weird, like, kind of specific matchup kind of card. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Not yet.
I would agree with
I
that.
don't think not, unless you just need to get rid of certain currents that are just going to destroy you on the runner side.
Or, I mean, I could also see certain court decks that have particularly bad matchups.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if someone's particularly susceptible to noise or something like that.
My no HQ ice deck.
Something.
It's like,
I don't know what it
Gabe
is,
would
but
run
if
you.
you're particularly susceptible to something, being able to just turn that off at some
Yeah.
point. It may not exist yet, but I have a feeling that could be a thing.
It probably will in the future.
What about Nasir, right?
It would be good against this year.
Makes that deck weird. So he's still probably
I
pretty
think it's
good.
still fine.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you just go normal game instead
Just
of
go normal game.
instead of weird game. All right, up next we have targeted marketing. It is a 0-cost operation for MBN. It costs 1 influence.
It's also a current.
It is also a current,
Woo!
so it's not trashed until another current is played or an agenda is stolen. When you play this, you name a card. Gain 10 credits whenever the runner plays or installs a copy of that card. Next.
Don't tell me you like that, right? You like that? You're the kind of guy that likes this?
No, the NBN player that likes to scorch earth you is the kind of player that says, Plasticrete.
Yeah, they do.
Anytime you play it, guess what? Here's 10 money, baby.
I don't think that you say
Or
Plasticrete. I
if you're
think you
playing
say
against criminal, you say account siphon.
I think you say like sure gamble, or you say like data sucker.
Or self-modifying.
Or
on
self-mod-
Shapers or
yeah.
something, you know,
So,
like,
I'm saying, if there's any deck you play, there's going to be a card you say.
Yeah, this is good. It's good. I think it's good because like it wipes currents, which you could probably want to do, and it's not a worthless card pretty much ever.
Yeah.
So, I'm into it.
Or if you have a bunch of like barriers installed, they're ready to brez, you can say Corroder.
Corroder, yeah. It's like, I dare you. Install
So
it.
you go ahead. Okay, I have
Yeah,
money.
and I mean, I think for 1 influence and 0 cost,
This may be the go-to if I don't have a current that I like in faction. I'll just
it's like
a
run
couple
2 of these.
I think this is also a really good 1 influence card. It's like, oh, I have 14 influence. What did I spend my last influence
One
on?
targeted marketing.
It's like, yeah, okay, I can put this in there. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't bad in anybody's deck.
Naming Desperado, Dirty Laundry. Like, there's good stuff
Yeah, I
here.
mean, I'm just thinking as court how often I run into a scenario where it's like, man, I really hope they don't have X.
Or it's like, I know exactly what they have.
Yeah.
You know, both of those are good. And, you know, it's funny that it fits in targeted marketing with Snoop
Mm-hmm.
and Data Hound. Telling you. It's there, guys. It's there,
I'm
man.
telling you. Sweet.
All right, Steven, what's up next?
The Information Overload. Ice Sentry, and it is a tracer. 4 strength.
It's a box.
So 6 cost, 4 strength is pretty solid, generally. A little high, but let's see what it does. When the runner encounters Information Overload, trace 1. If successful, give the runner 1 tag. So this is not a subroutine ability. This is
It's
like
on
a data
encounter.
raven. It's like
Yeah.
an encounter ability. Trace 1, obviously not lighting the world on fire, but Information Overload gains subroutine. The runner trashes one of his or her installed cards for each tag the runner has. And it's 2 influence. This is just a fantastic little piece of ice for doing mid-season. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's just a fantastic piece of ice as well. If you would also be playing mid-season, but just in like a tag storm deck.
yeah, just
You're running the data
ravens
ravens.
and-
You're running
It,
all of the things.
It's finally, you know, we always talked about giving the secondary tag benefits to form a deck around, and this certainly is a card that's getting us there, where it's like, I know I can tag you. That's not ever been the issue. Don't give me more cards to tag you. I need things that make it matter, besides
penalize
Scorched
any
Earth,
tag,
right?
yeah.
And so this is one of the really, really good ones. Because even if you can break it, it's a 4-string Sentry, which is never fun to break, but it could have 6, 8, 12 subroutines.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, it's not easy to just break.
I think it's cool so soon after Near Earth Hub to see cards. It's almost like there was this
Yeah.
second style of NBN always, where it's like the original ID didn't really matter,
Yeah.
like the 2 extra trace, because that was just a separate deck that was waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And they're kind of releasing both of the cards to make those 2 very. Again, it's very horizontal. It's extra
It's
ways
good.
of playing the same thing.
It's really
Yeah.
good.
So, all right, I like that card. Next up, Paywall Implementation. It's a 0 cost Wayland operation, 2 influence, 10. Operation. It's a transaction. Hey,
Oh,
hey,
get
course
some
that Wayland
money.
gets
A little
these.
throwback.
Get some money.
The card is not trashed until another current is played or an agenda is stolen. Gain 1 credit whenever the runner makes a successful
A
run.
little reverse Desperado there.
Oh.
I so dig this.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think
Wayland-
it's really solid.
Out of course at Wayland, you just play it, gain a money. That's sweet. It's a current, so you can get rid of currents, and then it penalizes them for making successful runs.
I mean, here's
Okay.
the question, right? Is Wayland in a position? So, all my games against Wayland recently have been 0,
Non-existent,
Just nobody cares. But can they leverage? I guess is my ultimate question: is what can they do to leverage the massive amount of money that they can already get? Right, you already can get tons of money in Wayland. That's
Yeah,
never been
that's
an
a really
issue.
good point.
So it's like we have more ways to get money with Wayland. That's cool, but what are we doing with it in Wayland? Are we rising big ice again? Like that's cool, but I'd like to see some better ways to do that. Maybe like canceling emergency shutdown would be the best way.
No.
The runner cannot play a card called emergency shutdown.
There's just
What?
an asset like
Actually,
Zybotsu that
instead,
prevents deusing ice.
You just
Yeah,
run
it
in the
is.
current and you name.
Yeah, and then get more money. It's like even though you shut it down, I'm just resident
I'm
again.
just resident bad boy
I
again,
got
baby.
10. I like that. Yeah. But it's flavorful and it's good.
No, I think that's a powerful card. I wouldn't be surprised to see that more out of not Wayland.
Yeah.
Corps that need money, that maybe like those NBN decks that just let you in a lot.
Again, really good at replicating to me too. It's like
They have to run.
They want to run all the time.
We also don't know very much of what we're getting in the next box.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that can mean
this-
everything.
We
Wayland
know one of the
box,
identities
man.
out of the box so far, right?
Wayland Anarch, right?
Yeah,
It's
it's a
magic.
dream box for you and I.
It is.
It's just one of those things that like, Wayland's going to be completely different once
Yeah.
that hits.
Yep.
It's like ice that says if you
That's-
have
that's not a
50
bad- that's
credits
not a
or
bad
more,
card.
it gains.
Yeah, like that's very realistic, I think.
Yeah,
Or if we do some crazy achievement in our store, where you
We
can
will.
build credits. Which we
undoubtedly we will.
All right, up next we have Sealed Vault. It is 0 cost Wayland asset. It's a facility.
Okay.
It's 1 influence. It's 8 trash cost.
Oh,
It has 2 paid abilities. The first one is 1 credit to move any number of credits from your credit pool to Sealed Vault.
You can do that anytime.
It's any action window,
yeah.
or any paid ability window.
Like
Ah,
it's
so
a vault.
cool.
And then you can click or trash it to move any number of credits from Sealed Vault to your credit pool.
That's incredible. This is great. Talk about it, just a hard counter to
This
siphon.
is so cool.
This
on
is
the
the
design
hardest
side.
counter to
Yeah.
siphon
It's like,
you can imagine.
no. It's like you have the rolled up newspaper and you're like, no.
It's like, you want to get in? That's cool.
Oh, you want to run that and deal with it? Oh, no, I'll just trash it and get all the money back. Oh, man, this is great.
And no one's ever going to pay 8
You
to trash
can't ever
this.
pay to trash it. That deck's too poor.
That's so good.
Great. Well, so Wayland at least has something going for it. It's impenetrable if you want to
Well,
be.
and
to that
thankfully,
kind of
it's
stuff.
1 influence, so no one else is going to run it.
I don't know if anyone else is going to run it.
I don't know
honestly.
that this is going to see a ton of play, but it's one of those things that when you're building your runner deck,
If you're complaining about Siphon,
I mean, if this had been in the meta like a year ago or 6 months ago even, it would have been like, well, I'm playing Wayland because the meta is like this. It's siphon heavy and stuff. There was like none of that on at Gen Con.
Yeah,
I
there
didn't see
was
a whole
very
lot of
little.
it. Maybe out of Criminal, like kind of as it was when it first launched.
so the thing about it for me is like, if Wayland is so good at getting money, does the Siphon really matter?
no.
Do you play this to
But
prevent
it
Siphon?
does.
I mean,
The
siphon,
money, losing the money isn't what hurts with Siphon against Wayland.
That's
Getting
it.
the money?
It's them getting 10 money.
It's the economy engine in those decks. Well, at least in the far out ones that I was doing, it was like if you don't land the siphons, you're minus 10 money every time you play that event, and you just can't do it.
Yeah. Yep.
Can't be that way.
That's a super flavorful and cool card.
Mhm.
by
It
the way.
is.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Eden Fragment, shall we?
Yes.
5 to advance, and 3 points for doing so. That's pretty solid. Ignore the install cost of the first piece of ice you install each turn. Limit 1 per deck.
It's unique as well.
It is unique.
I like it. I think it goes really well in some Glacier decks that are going to be scoring 5/3s anyway, and it saves them from installing that like 3rd ring or the 4th ring.
Could also go in just HB.
Mm-hmm. That's what HP Glacier is what I was really talking about in my mind.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Talking.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
I think this also goes really well in Blue Sun, so they can return
Right.
ice to their hand, get their money, and just
What's
install
Blue
it for
Sun?
free. It's a card that's not out yet. It's a new Wayland identity where you can legally return bounce a res card and
If
gain
you
money
don't
because
know-
it's res cost.
Are you familiar with the internet? Because I only asked that. You can literally, I can find out 5 years of worth of cards that are on the way right now if I wanted to.
I had no
like just
idea.
you just
I
click,
hate
you just
spoilers.
Google search. It's like, hey,
Netrunner
tell me
cards.
Netrunner cards, and it's like, oh well, would you like to know every card in the next 7 packs? I don't look at it, of course, because I
I
like
do.
to
Bizarre.
maintain
What's it
my
called? Blue Sun?
nobility.
Blue Sun.
Yeah, it's a game changer too. It's
But I think that this will be really strong in that.
Wildcats.
It's
Cool.
it's
a fine agenda.
It's fine.
Am I next?
You are.
All right. Lag time.
Put me in.
Two cost operation is neutral, no influence. It's a
Woo.
current. Hey, this card is not trashed until another current is played or an agenda is stolen. All ice have +1 strength.
So you put this in stronger together, and everything's +2.
I think you
about
put this
that?
into anything and it's fine.
Yeah, it's pretty much good everywhere. This is
I'm
your
glad
neutral.
to see a neutral.
This is your neutral current. Yeah, it's great.
That's great. It's just always pretty good.
You're never mad about having +1 strength.
Yeah, it's usually 1 money for every piece of subroutine that the runner's going to break, right? It's like
For
every piece of ice. Yeah,
So that's good.
still good.
It's
Gets
good.
code gates over the hump.
It's very
Puts it
vanilla,
works.
but it's good.
Yep.
I like it. I like
You-
this neutral.
You need a vanilla, really.
Yeah.
Yep. Up next, we have Will-O the Wisp.
Man, this has been talked about all the time.
This is the first neutral upgrade we've ever seen.
Mm.
It's 4 cost.
Noted.
It's 1 trash cost. Whenever there is a successful run on this server, you may trash Will-O the Wisp.
Okay.
If you do, you choose an icebreaker that was used to break at least 1 subroutine during this run. The runner adds that icebreaker to the bottom of his or her stack.
Mm.
This card is bonkers.
I think it's overrated.
You can put this on R&D.
Yeah, here's the thing. You got to pay 4 to pop it up, which is
Whoa,
fine.
Whoa.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, 4 is money.
Waylon likes this.
You have to have the specific type of ice
Corpse
for the
is so
icebreaker
rich
that
right
you're
now.
trying to do the thing. They break the thing, so that's fine.
Have you played against this yet?
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually have.
Because it's
The
most
runner
annoying
adds it to
thing.
the bottom of their stack. 1 to trash. I mean, there's so much test run. There's so much SMC. There's special order if you want to do that in criminal. There's a million different types of icebreakers to run right now. There's icebreakers that don't care about being on the bottom, like Overminds and things like that, and the upcoming David. I don't know. I mean, I think it's good. It feels to me like a card that people initially are like, oh my gosh, Will-O-the-Wisp.
Like an
And then it's like, yeah, it feels very much like Nisei to me.
I don't think it's broken
Very
by any
much
means, but I think
like
it's
Caprice.
ridiculously strong.
It feels like Nisei to me as well. That's what I was gonna say.
I'd say Nisei is way better than this card.
Yeah, that's fair, but, we
But
didn't
I
see
think that
any
this
of
is
her.
really strong.
It is good. It is good.
I think this card is insane.
I think it does at least make you respect anytime you see
Any card installed in
installed
any
card.
server.
you have to at least respect it,
Yeah.
which is cool.
It's like if I have an ice wall and R&D and an upgrade, like
Yeah, to the corrodor back down.
That'd
And
be
that's
a lot.
fine.
I think it's cool.
I mean, I think if it sees a lot of play, you build differently as the runner, which is good.
Which is
if
huge,
if
I
it
think,
wants
for
to
the
shake, if it wants to shake the meta up, that's fine. That's great. But I think we've also seen the game turning less towards install your 3 breakers and run for the rest of your life, and more towards like install very situational things that are temporary and then come in and come out. And maybe I test run this thing and film this thing, and then it goes back to my deck and like that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's solid. It's solid.
I think it's a good card.
I think it's really good.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Speaking of good
I think
cards,
it's one of the best in the pack.
David, let's talk about David. We were talking about those icebreakers. 3 cost, 1 memory. It's a program. It's an icebreaker. Actually, it's technically not an icebreaker. Place 3 power counters on David when it's installed, and then you spend a host of power counter. Break ice subroutine on a piece of ice that has a strength of 5 or greater, and it is 4 influence. Thank you.
I love this card.
Yes,
Krim gets a good one.
Anarch, you mean?
Yeah, that's what
this card is really good. Yeah, I like this. I mean,
Orange.
it fits perfectly into the system. The only problem with this card is the same Anarch problem, is that it is a memory. So it's like,
Do you think that we'll ever see
Where
a
you
card
go.
that increases the strength of ice for the runner?
ooh, like for Ottman reasons and this
Like
reasons
an
and
opposite
stuff.
of
I
Data
don't.
Sucker?
Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't necessarily go there. Is 3 power counters enough for 3 costs? That's the real question.
I have a question for
It's
you.
an Anarch answer for...
Imagine this with Aesop.
No, I agree, and this is the thing. Is like I was playing Anarch for the longest time without Aesop's, and I started looking, and I'm like, I'm doing like Overmind and Imps
Things
and
that
stuff.
if you could cash out at the end on would be great.
And it gets 1,000 times better. So it's like, and it makes sense. You're the Anarchs. You just sell the stuff off after you've used it. It makes perfect sense. So maybe we're just kind of stuck with Aesop for a while. But yeah, I guess way better if you do that.
Yeah. This does answer Archer. Like,
It does.
It's like, oh, I paid 3 and I have Archer safety.
Yeah, Archer safety.
Which is important.
It still puts Lotus Field in that weird spot. But like, here's the thing is like, so I was building Anarch deck the other day, and it's like I want 3 Knights, and then I probably want 2 Mimics, and I probably want 2 Corrodors, and then I need a Code Gate thing, probably get 2 Yogs, and then I want mediums, and I want Nerve Agents, and I want Imps, and I want Data
Parasite?
Suckers, and I want Parasites, and I was like, there's just no way. Something's got to change. Like, something about the rig setup of Anarch has got to be
Just
different.
run some Lotus, or not Lotus, but Leprechauns. Run some Leprechauns and some M chips.
And maybe that's it. Maybe that's the answer. And then you run into this problem where
Or
you have all the
maybe-
memory. You can't afford to play anything.
Maybe Anarch will get a person that has like +3 Mia.
Dude, I was talking about that the other day.
Just straight up
I-
+3
I
starts the
would-
game +3.
I would be on the floor if I saw that.
1 influence.
Literally on the floor.
Mhm.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. And
Just run all the Anarch cards.
you know what we splash? We splash like weak card draw and weak economy. That's basically what we splash right now.
Okay.
It's like, 3 lucky finds. Come on. No, but David's good. Yeah, it's nice. It makes you feel safe.
Makes you feel safe. All right, next up we have another Anarch card. It's 2 cost event. It's a current. 2 influence. It's called Scrubbed.
That art's awesome.
Yeah, it's really
This
good.
event is not trashed until another current is played or an agenda is scored. Not stolen. Scored.
Yep.
The first piece of ice encountered each turn has -2 strength for the remainder of the run.
Really important.
I think it's a good card.
Really important. Remainder of the run is, I wish it was remainder of the turn, obviously, but yeah. You know this fits right in there. With Parasite, Clone Ship, all that. You know,
Yeah.
it just goes right in there.
Burn them all.
And just basic Anarch Breakers.
I mean, that's just a good card.
I think it's very solid.
It's more of what we do already.
Speaking of solid,
In a good
next we
way.
have 3 steps ahead.
Oh, hey.
It's a 1 cost criminal event. It's a priority. It's 2 influence. So you can only play it as your first click. When this turn ends, gain 2 credits for each successful run you made during it.
That's cool.
Wow.
So if you play this and make 3 successful runs, you gain 6 money.
What if you doppelgang for a 4th?
What if you doppelgang? What if you Josh B to get another run?
Yeah.
You can
yeah,
put some
this is
all-nighters
cool.
in there. You can run Rachel Beckman whenever she comes out for that extra click.
You add this to security testing. All of a sudden, Archives is just a money bag.
I'm going to go ahead and gain a 10.
This card, if you're building to it, is an insane economy card.
Yeah,
But you still have to build to a card, and I don't like doing that a lot.
you do. You do have to build to it. I mean, so...
I mean, if you're running the Kate data sucker destruction or anything really that is the Desperado data sucker, this just fits right
So you're
in
saying,
that
like,
deck.
click 1, play this, then run Archives 3 times?
Yeah, and you just gain 3 tokens, 3 money, plus 6 money from this card. Like,
That seems pretty good.
If one of those is a dirty laundry.
Oh, yeah, it is, and of course it is.
honestly, even just, like you dirty laundry one of them, or you run Archive twice and you make an actual run.
All
Yeah.
the centrals, Archives is becoming way more important
Mhm.
than Sneak Door.
And
you
I
know?
love that is the case.
Yeah. Making next design even better, right?
Sure.
Sure.
Whatever makes you happy.
Whatever you say. Whatever you say, man.
Anyways,
Whatever
there's
you
just
say.
a lot of ways. That's a 1 cost economy card. Criminal in particular is pretty good at getting successful runs in a turn. Even 2 successful runs that you're already going to do.
It's like an easy mark.
A click and a money for 4 money. Just saying. I'm
Not
okay
bad. Not bad. Yeah, I like that. It's cool. It's sideways, as we say. What about you? Is that me?
This is you.
Unscheduled? Unscheduled maintenance. 1 cost current. This is the criminal current. Let's take a look at it. The
So
corp
good.
cannot install more than 1 piece of ice each turn. Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't make it through. This is not good.
It's not great. What I was thinking of, though,
I don't want to wholesale say it's not good, but like,
it's not
I
great.
can't think of many ways it's useful at this time. That's a nice way of saying that.
The thing I was thinking about with this card,
Tell me more. What's the day stops?
no,
Just kidding.
it's
Director Haas?
no,
Can we keep spouting out random cards?
no, was
Pangy.
in an ice destruction deck. I destroy ice. I play this, and you can only shore up 1 of your weaknesses.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That is the best I can come up with for this.
That's fair. It's fair.
The art is fantastic on this card, though.
It is
Ian's
very,
looking like a
very
champion.
cool. Very
You
cool.
got some coffee?
This looks like some whiskey.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. You know, and they don't all have to be groundbreaking.
It's also just a current. Yeah, it's
yeah.
a current.
Maybe criminals, and we've seen this before. Maybe, you know, we talked to the design folks, and a lot of times it's like, well, sometimes certain factors just don't do things as well. And maybe, you know, the criminals with their currents just aren't as good at it. Where the anarchs might be awesome at it because that's kind of what they're into.
Yeah,
It's like
current
permanent,
use.
like, destruction and anarchy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think this criminal deck space is pretty tight. But
Yeah.
again, does that mean that criminals now don't have current protection from the corp?
It depends on how important those currents get with the court.
I think their protection is scoring agendas, which they seem to be
Pretty
pretty
good.
good
solid
at.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, fair enough.
All right. Well, next up we have another criminal card.
Oh my gosh, I did
This
not
isn't-
realize this was a criminal card.
This isn't really a criminal card.
So 1 influence, 1 cost, 1 memory, cash. Is that how you say that?
I would
That's
assume.
how I
Yeah.
say it. Some people say it weird, but I'm gonna say cash. Program. It's a virus.
Uh-huh.
Place 3 virus counters on cash when it is installed. Host a virus counter. Gain 1 money.
Now-
You can finally make your assessment of this card in a completely valid way, because this card is all about Aesop's Pawn Shop. It's
Well,
crazy. Tim,
so
give me the rundown.
It's a virus,
Alright,
right? So if you play it at a noise,
That's the only place this is getting played at.
you pay one, you get your
Get your
discard.
trash.
Then you can 3 virus counters.
First of all, though, you have Grimoire installed. It comes in with 4 virus counters.
Then you just remove 4 counters, gain 4 money.
You also installed this with the Cyber Feeder, so you played it for free.
Yep.
You also installed it on a Scheherazade, which gains you credit. No, this is a deck.
This is a deck.
Like, this is a real thing that people do. It's good.
If
No,
you
this
do
is
it
real.
once, like it's worth it. If you do it just once, like that's an incredible economy advantage.
So you gain 5 from installing it, and then you sell it to Aesops
for 3.
for 3. So you gain
Nice.
8 money for 1 click.
You get 8 money
And you
and an
mill a
R&D
card.
access, basically.
It's just awesome.
And then what do you probably deja vu 2 of them back in?
Sure.
And do it twice
Why not?
more.
Why not?
Why wouldn't you do that? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's the one thing that the noise deck used to struggle with was economy.
The amount of money you get out of this is crazy. It might be too much, man.
It's a lot.
It's lots of money.
It's a lot.
That's
I was saying on the way
I know.
home from Gen Con that I wanted to build an Aesop's deck.
This card is in it.
This card is in.
I'm going to build
for
an
sure.
Aesop's deck, and I think this
Oh
card
man, that's
is the
just
chain.
unreal how good that is.
Yeah. I played against a noise deck at Gen Con that was doing that, and this card wasn't legal then, and it was still very good. Like, just installing viruses onto the Scheherazade and just overriding them and keep doing that over and over. It was so annoying selling things to Aesops. It was very annoying. And we all know the Anarchs do best when they're barely annoying.
When they're annoying
you
you
to
to death, yeah. This is great. This is a great card. It's going to be the economy engine for a lot of decks.
You can also use this as, if you wanted to, I guess you could at least, use it for closed accounts protection.
Yeah.
Just leave the money on there.
Yeah. Just hope they don't purge.
And if they purge your cash, okay.
Yeah.
I'll pay 1.
You got it, boss. I'll sell it to Aesop. Get 3 from it.
Right,
Congrats,
you know
you
what I
wasted
mean?
a turn.
Absolutely. Oh, baby.
All right, up next we have Net Celebrity. It is the Shaper Current. It is 1 cost, 1 influence. It has 1 recurring credit. Use this credit during a run.
I love this stuff, man. Zach does.
I think this is probably the best runner current.
I mean, it's never bad unless you're not running.
One, that art is awesome, in my opinion.
Who is that anyway?
I don't think we
Noise?
know.
I don't know, but his hair is going crazy.
It's the most noisy here.
This
that I've
is
seen.
when we first started playing the game. We opened the core set, right? I was like, "Oh my god, Kate's awesome!" Right?
Yeah.
I love Kate, and then I was like, "Cyber Feeder, I love Cyber Feeder. 1 recurring credit."
You want to set up systems.
Yeah, but this is even better because it's in Shaper.
Yeah. You just got credits.
Love it.
You use them.
Always useful.
At worst, it's going to pay for itself the turn that you play it.
It kind of feels like a big riggy kind of thing, right? Where now, okay, yeah, they do trash themselves, so you can only have 1 current.
Mm-hmm.
But it is kind of like a, use it only whenever you have this nice big old rig. Now, do you have Opus with this probably as well?
Sure.
You got Opus.
Put
you
it
got
in
rig
there.
as a Chaos Theory.
I mean, it's just like
you got your stuff going.
every turn it's gonna give you money. Like you run. Like this is Netrunner.
How about
You're gonna
the-
make a run?
This feels like a Nasir card too, right?
Yeah, totally not your
Any
card.
deck that's just running is gonna want this
Literally.
guy. Any deck that
But
runs.
then you pair this with Aesops.
Yeah,
And then-
sure.
Wait,
That's not an
No,
installed
but-
card.
I know.
I mean, any deck that's you're already on Desperado, it's like it's just efficiency. Like okay, and it's
It's a slot
current
though,
protection.
Zach. It's a slot.
Out of Shaper, it's
It's a slot that
it's a great
saves a
slot.
Cyber Feeder slot.
It does. It saves you 1 credit, but it's not permanent. So
That's okay.
It's also important to note that it's just used for runs. So you can use it for SMCs,
Yeah.
use it for clone ships, you can use it for
that's so good.
any of those things. Or using FIM to bypass
It's good.
things. Anyways, up next.
LDS Energy Regulator,
Ooh.
0 cost and 1 MU, 3 credits or trash it to prevent an installed piece of hardware from being
This
trashed.
is super strong right now.
Man,
That was really good.
I was convinced for a
almost
second.
convinced. I was like, okay, maybe I'm reading it wrong.
my brain freaked out and did that thing where it's like, it's like hardware
What am I
trashing, hardware
missing?
trashing, hardware
What am I
trashing.
missing?
No, I agree with you. This is not it yet, but
I think it will
as
have
we've
it,
seen,
it will have its time and place.
I mean, we've seen Sacrificial Construct come kind of back in. Fall Guys kind of come in like. These cards play around. They get there.
we've also seen a lot of hardware trashing coming out,
What Taurus was the most recent, right?
Taurus was the most recent
Tracer
one.
from Wayland.
and it will always trash one. And then there also showed up Shattered Remains, which is the trap that trashes hardware. And so I assume that we're also going to get some more hardware that's really important. But
It's hard to run cards like this, though.
Yeah.
It really just is. Because don't get your stuff trashed, you know?
I mean, how often does hardware get trashed?
Or
well,
just-
that's the thing. They're printing more, is what I'm saying.
Or just get more stuff. Like, just install it again rather than paying $3 to prevent it. You know? Because if it's Desperado, just play another Desperado.
if this was a hardware,
Yeah, that would be way better, wouldn't it? Well, you know.
Yeah. It's
But yeah.
okay.
You can always sell it to ASOS for $3.
That was really convincing. That was good.
thank
Yes,
you.
it was. It was very
You
nice.
deserve the award of the video for most convincing. Moment.
Oh, look at that.
All right,
on
next
too.
up we have the Ghost
Hey,
Runner.
yeah.
1 cost neutral, no influence. It's a resource. It's stealth. It's virtual. It's also got phenomenal art.
Trashed by
I wish that was
Firefox. or
huger.
whatever it
Uh,
was.
place
Don't have
3
the rights.
credits on Ghost Runner when it is installed. When there are no credits left on Ghost Runner, trash it. You can use the credits on Ghost Runner during the run.
What do you think about that?
It helps
Zach?
stealth breakers a lot. Oh, you said Zach.
Oh, yeah. It is.
Oh wait, I'm not Zach. Yeah, Stealth Breaker's obviously awesome.
That's significant
I don't know.
for
This
that
is
build.
a weird card for me.
I mean, if you're running stealth breakers, you're running this card.
Sure.
That's.
How
I
do
don't,
you-
I don't
how do
think you
you-
run it not with stealth breakers. You
How do
could.
How do you love the current that gives you a credit during a run, but you don't love a 1 cost that gives you 3 credits to use during a run?
Because it only ever nets you 2.
Unless you only take 2 off of it and then sell it to Aesop's.
God, Zach.
Okay, all right. Unless you run an ace out.
You're
So
on fire
The
here.
other is a current, so it replaces currents, but then it can net you 1 every turn until
true.
they deal with it.
It's true.
So this card's okay. I'm just curious if it ends up.
It's the stealth thing.
It's really only for stealth.
But
Oh,
those
no.
those breakers are getting to the point where it's kind of worth investing in that engine, right? At least the Century one. I remember
Century
being
one's
really
awesome. It's not out yet, but
good. And it's and this is why it's good though. It would be worse. It would be worse if it said you can use these credits on Ghost Runner during a run and only on stealth programs, right? Like
Yeah.
that'd be one thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, I've already got my stuff out. I don't need it. I'll just play it because I'll net 2 credits during a run. That's fine.
yeah. Unless you sell it to Aesop's.
I think it's fair.
It's definitely not a bad card.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I
never
think,
be
I
bad.
think it'll be in certain decks, but it's also just not like a ubiquitous card.
And we'll certainly see more stealth
Which is-
stuff.
Which honestly, like, I know a lot of players. I run this a lot, especially with a different game, where it's like if every card is not just game breaking, it's like they feel like it's a bad pack or a bad thing, and it's like every card cannot be game breaking.
No, yeah, that
It's
would
like
be
it needs
crazy.
to be make the game more interesting.
Yes.
Give you more options.
Yeah.
And yeah, with stealth, that's a stealth resource that will continue forever as a stealth resource, and it'll be in every stealth deck ever.
It's another
So,
option.
That's cool.
It's very good.
Yeah.
All right. Whoa, man, that was a wild ride.
Spaces
Kind of
between,
blacked
man.
out there for a
We
little bit.
visited the spaces between.
So quick rundown. I think HB got some.
HB made out
juice
like
in this
bandits.
pack. Seriously.
NBN got some good things.
Yeah, NBN. I think information overload is going to be a real key piece to a certain deck that's going to arise over the next bit of time.
Yeah.
Once the NEH fad has kind of died down, I think.
I think neutrals.
I
got
think
some
the 3
huge
neutrals are
support.
good.
Wayland again, not really getting much. Honestly,
They're getting a box. Just calm
Yeah,
down.
that's true.
Calm
That's
down.
true.
I feel like Wayland is this grand piece of art that you only get to see little pieces of at a time. It's like
Once they have something to do with that money, man.
one day we'll see the entire piece of art.
Yeah,
and we'll
it'll be the
blown away.
beanstalk.
Yeah.
You'll have the beanstalk.
There's the
Beanstalk
beanstalk.
deck.
Will the Wisp, I agree, is super strong. How strong it is remains to be seen.
Mhm.
I know there's been a lot of discussion on that.
At worst, it's one of those things that you just have to respect.
Yeah.
Like Zach said.
Yeah, and it's annoying.
Lag time, I think, is really strong. I think Eden Fragment has its place.
David continues kind of the weird Anarch trend
Yeah.
of how do
Weird.
I build a deck for Anarch. That's why I like him so much. It's like you can do it differently every time and never feel good about it.
Scrubbed, I think, is
Scrubbed,
good.
I think, the best current in the faction that it's in.
Yeah.
Like, that is so significant for so many of our builds. Whether we're breaking ice or killing it, it's all
Criminals and then
good. We could see a worm build now with Scrub.
Worm, yeah,
honestly.
you could.
We honestly could. I'm not
Not even
kidding,
being
Zach.
facetious.
Yeah, that -2 helps a lot for the worm.
Tremendous.
The worm. I'm gonna only call it the worm from now on.
If
Every
only
time I
our
see
clone
it.
ships were in faction.
Yeah.
Because they should be, right? Right? No.
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 So overall, a good pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's Spaces Between, guys. Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed our take on it. Sorry if we said Aesop's Pawn Shop a few too many times this unboxing, but
Every unboxing.
it gets in our blood, and then we just can't stop. If you'd like to pick this one up, then we do have it on our store, or if you'd like to have it at any point, at any time, then we do have a subscription service as well. So please do any of those things, take care of any of those options, and we will catch you guys next time. Thanks so much.
See you guys.